Is the first day of meteorological spring, but we all know how much of this winter actually felt like spring.
Yeah, basically all of it. Nearly 8 degrees warmer than the average winter. Meteorologist Caitlin McGrath with us now with a look back at some of our wild winters and what the future may look like.
It's undeniable. Between climate change and urbanization, our winters are getting warmer. Over the past 5 decades, our region has seen winter average temperatures increase between 3 and 5 degrees. And the University of Maryland Center for Environmental Science is projecting that winter months could warm an additional 4 to 10 degrees by 2080 if we can't curb greenhouse gas emissions. Just think back to how warm this past winter was. It was 7.7 degrees warmer than average, and for most of the month, we all swapped our heavy winter layers for some lighter attire. The top 7 of the 10 warmest winters since 1941 have all been in the past 20 years. Now, of course, there can still be cold winters in our changing climate. We still normally have a few stretches of extreme cold during the winter months when polar air sinks south. The likelihood of extreme cold conditions in a warming world is just decreasing. But rest assured, we will still have days with record cold temperatures. Data just shows it won't be as cold for as long in the past. And don't worry, snow lovers, we will still have storms like this. Back in January 2016, between the 22nd and 23rd, DC picked up nearly 18 inches of snow. But get this, that same winter we had that epic 2-day snow ended up being our 3rd warmest winter on record. Now, let's turn back the clock to the winter of 2009 and 2010. If you were around, you might remember it for being a blockbuster winter with over 56 inches of snow and below average temperatures. While there was no shortage of winter wonderland scenes like this, the season came to an abrupt and early halt with the final freeze on February 27th, the earliest final freeze on record. If you're not a fan of the cold, warming winters might sound like a good thing, but it can have serious negative impacts on our health and regional economies. Disease-carrying insects like mosquitoes and ticks can spread into regions that were previously too cold to survive in. Years with less snow have already been crushing for the multi-billion-dollar winter recreation industry. Think skiing, ice fishing, and snowmobiling. Agriculture is also at risk. Fruit trees like cherry, apple, and peach trees require a minimum number of winter chill hours before they can grow fruit in the spring and summer months. With warmer winter temperatures, this cool period is decreasing and could eventually hinder fruit development. And winter temperatures are critical when it comes to the blooming of our cherry blossoms. Last year in 2022, we hit peak bloom on March 21st, 14 days before the average peak bloom of April 4th. And while there certainly have been years with peak bloom after the average date, the trend has undeniably been earlier than normal, and it's linked to rising temperatures. And here we are this evening talking about yet another early peak bloom expected. The National Park Service just announcing earlier today, peak bloom is expected between March 22nd and the 25th, and it's all because it has been so warm this winter. But coming up in my forecast, we're going to talk about some cooler temperatures on the horizon as we head through the first part of March. Guys?
Can't wait to see that sea of pink along the tidal basin.